Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
All right, so now we go to the next part. So now we're entering chapter 12. Chapter 12. Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal, and the universal, and has described all kinds of devotees and yogis. Generally, the transcendentalists can be divided into two classes. One is the impersonalist, and the other is the personalist. Which one are you?
Personalist.
Very good. Can I tell you a story? All right, so last week, one Indian lady, she knows me from Radharaman. She has one relative who lives near me. So she said, come and I want you to speak to my friend. So she was there and he was there. And she told me how her guru explained to her many, many years ago that how to understand God. So the guru told her, okay, you see this? What's in between? She said, nothing. That's God. So I'm hearing this and I go, oh my God. And because it's her guru, she just accepted it blindly. And everybody in the family, everybody, they're all, yep, that's what Guruji said. So I said, okay, I'm also Guruji. Krishna is God. Now you accept. I don't know if I got anywhere, but, huh? We'll see.
Our guru is my guru. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I was in Radharaman temple in the evening. And that day, Raghunandan Prabhu was doing the kirtan. And after that, there was one man came up and talked a little bit about like 20 minutes. He's talking about everything all about like impersonalism. He's the disciple of the Ravi Shankar. And I told him how you can concentrate in zero. You forgot sin, right? With the zero, you cannot do anything. Without the object, how can you?
Yeah.
I thought directly, in my heart, I was crying when he was telling that.
Yes, that means you're a devotee.
I feel like too much. I wanted to fight with him, but I don't
No, not in the temple.
really, that's why I just remember every time that Bengali word, right? Mayavati, Bhasha Shunya,
Yes,
Sarvanas. That
Yes.
word I just remember.
very good. Yes, my friend, or
I wanted to say that there is a community, there is a religion known as the Niran Thought. The Niran Thought is that they believe in that the God has no shape.
No form.
So they go to this. No, I think they call Niran Thought. Okay, you would call Niran Thought, but they believe in that what you just said.
yes.
That is the God. That's what it is.
So let's all chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. All right. The
Why they want to be, there is, we are taken as a form, and we are his part and parcel. So if he doesn't have a form, then how can we have a form?
exactly. Very good. Yes.
Also to give all the doubt, Prabhuji, what you said, that is the first stage of realization, Brahman. You know, that's the first stage of realization. Then you go to the second stage of realization, which is Paramatma. The God is sitting in your heart. And the third stage of realization, which is the final stage, which includes everything, is personal form, Krishna, in the deity form, or that's the way he has become merciful and come and we can see him and appreciate him. That's the way it is. Like you said, we have a form,
How can he
he doesn't have a form.
part and parcel?
So that is the highest stage of realization. So if you are here Okay, you can bring in Brahman, that is his also. You can get higher, and then you can get the highest form. That makes sense?
Yes, that's fine. Let's continue. The personalist devotee engages him or herself with all energy in the service of the Supreme Lord. The impersonalist also engages himself, not directly in the service of Krishna, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. We find in this chapter that of the different processes for realization of the absolute truth, Bhakti Yoga devotional service is the highest, which you just said. If one at all desires to have the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he must take to devotional service. So here, Prabhupada, let's go to 12, 1 and 2, because that's the context. 12, 1 and 2.
Okay, 12:1. Arjuna inquired.
In the microphone.
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Okay, so Arjuna is asking the question. Let's see what Krishna says.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect.
Excellent. Now go to number 5. So who's more perfect?
Personal form.
Did he say most perfect?
Yes.
He said most perfect. Is there anything beyond most perfect? No.
No.
Now number 5. What does he
5.
say in 5?
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make a progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Anybody not embodied? Not here. Everybody here in the material world is embodied. So that's Krishna's clever way. Means for everybody. This what was it? What was what the path is? What? Very difficult. Well, and the word klesha in the synonyms. What is the word klesha? Troublesome.
Yeah.
Is that the definition given? Klesha? Trouble. Who wants trouble? Right? Okay, let's now, thank you. Let's continue reading. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad-gita, the Supreme Lord explained that a living entity is not the material body, he is a spiritual spark. So, that instruction begins with what verse of chapter 2? What number verse? No. It starts with verse number 11 and ends with verse number 30, which means how many verses? 20. So there is the whole section on the spirit soul, verses 11 through 30. Let's continue. And the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. What are we? We are the spiritual
Part and parcel.
part. We are the spiritual part. Krishna is the spiritual whole. We are the spiritual part. In the 7th chapter, he spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole. So go to 7:5. That's the context. 7:5.
Besides these,
Okay, besides these refers to what? The 8 material separated energies?
earth, water, fire,
Good.
air, mind, intelligence, and false ego.
Okay, so that's besides these. That's the context. So what
Besides
does he say?
these, O mighty armed Arjun, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature.
Okay, that's the context. That's what Prabhupada's referring to in chapter 7. In the 7th chapter, he spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole and recommended that he transfers attention fully to the whole. Then again, in the 8th chapter, it is said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body is at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. Now go to 8:5. That's the reference. I'm sure many of you know this verse so well. 8:5. See? Many of you know the verse. 8:5.
That's what we're trying to aim for, right?
I hope so.
And whoever at the end of his life
Antakale chamam, yes.
quits his body, remembering me, alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Okay, what's the Sanskrit? Antakale? Smaranamukta kalevaram. Bhavam. Okay, now, let's go through that again. What does one attain if he thinks of Krishna at the time of death? No.
My nature.
The nature, according to the verse. Yes, he goes to Krishna's abode.
Right.
But I'm saying strictly according to the verse. He attains Krishna's
nature.
Matbhavam, his nature.
Matbhavam.
What is Krishna's nature?
Sachidananda
Sachit Ananda. Very good. Excellent. I think we're learning something tonight. Good. A lot? Good. All right, continue. And at the, continue, that's me. At the end of the 6th chapter, the Lord clearly said that of all yogis, one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. So go to 647.
Yogina.
Well, he has the mic, so.
Yeah. And
Oh, you
of
have a
all
question?
the yogis, the one with the great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is most intimately united with me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
Anybody doubt Krishna's opinion? Good. We all agree on Krishna's opinion?
Yes.
Very good. You have a question?
I just wanted a little bit elaboration on the point of remembering Krishna. What comes to my mind, what I do remember is that Krishna, before he died, so he truly had a Krishna before him.
Yes.
Is there anybody else that you...
How about Jatayu? Jatayu. He was in Ram's lap.
But when they are saying, remember, when you die, remember me,
So, I will answer this.
ordinary person, what
Means you remember Krishna's name, fame, form, pastimes, entourage, paraphernalia, pastimes, anything directly associated with Krishna.
typically, the average person will die in a hospital, how many relatives surrounding us, but typically that doesn't happen.
Yes, that's right. So, well, the other 80%, what can we do? Yes, you have to come to Namahat. We're not ordinary persons. We already discussed that. Wait. Were you here earlier? We already said we're not ordinary persons. Didn't we? Were you? No. Okay. Obviously, he didn't understand 7.3. Go back to 7.3. 7.3, please. I thought we already went over this point. No, the idea is we're speaking philosophically.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
Now, go to 15:19. We did this at the very beginning of the class. And is anybody getting ready to offer the boga? Okay. 15:19. Okay, Ved?
Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is the knower of everything.
Okay. How many people accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting? Are you satisfied now? Okay?
Prabhuji, just try to, I've been listening in the internet, in a Punjabi Bagh yesterday, the president was giving a very beautiful lecture, and he was saying that if you want to remember and think of Krishna or see him face to face, we need to memorize some shlokas, we need to memorize some prayers of Queen
Yes, Prabhupada says that.
Gajendra or somebody that
Yes.
chanting and
Yes, that's why we do mala. We're practicing so that at the time of death, it'll come without even thinking.
not only on mala, because somebody was telling us that when you're cooking, you're cleaning the house, you're doing anything, laundry, folding, just keep thinking Krishna in your mind. And
Jai.
Can I give an example? This is
You
a
may give example.
live example. I saw Jai Krishna just by Patel in the hospital in the ICU, okay? And they put the mala in his hand, right? He was in coma, almost 100%, right? When I went there, touched him, he held my hand and grabbed it, right? And then I saw his hand was moving on the bead. They give the bead to his hand. He's supposed to be in coma. Why did his hand and thumb and fingers start moving on the bead? Because he has done so many times
He's
before.
in spiritual coma.
Yeah, exactly. So he started doing it unknowingly, because Krishna, this is why Krishna's mercy comes through. Because he was practicing it, Krishna gave him the intelligence to do that.
And I had one god
This
brother.
is a live example I'm telling you. So Krishna makes arrangements somehow
If
for the
you
devotee.
practice, practice. I had one god brother, and he told me after he had his stroke, he came out of the stroke, but the doctors told him when he got up, he said, in your stroke, you were mumbling something. He was chanting Hari in the stroke. So, practice your japa. You have no idea. When you're driving, right? And somebody goes, shh, Hare Krishna. Practice, practice, practice. All right, let's continue our reading. So, in practically every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna, for that is the highest spiritual realization. And so, factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now, Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. In other words, he is clarifying his own position because he is attached to the personal form of Krishna. He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. He wants to know whether his position is secure. The impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord, is a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time? Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is best because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time, and there was no disturbance to his love for Krishna. Just like in that prayer, Dash Avatar Stotram. So first is Matsya, but what's the line? Keshavadrita. Whose incarnation? Keshava's incarnation. Then you have Kurma. Then you have Varaha. Then you have Nrsinga. Then you have Vamana. Then you have, what's next after Vamana? Parshuram. Then you have Ramachandra. Then Balaram. Buddha. Kalki. And each line says Keshavadrita, right? It is Krishna, Keshava's incarnations. So just like this week, we're going to celebrate Lord Nrsinga. So we're going to hear so much about Lord Nrsinga, but we know Lord Nrsinga is a manifestation of Krishna. So hearing about Nrsinga and praying to Nrsinga doesn't disturb, because we understand these are all different forms of Krishna. The devotee wants to know Krishna in all his manifestations, all of them. This important question asked of Krishna by Arjuna will clarify the distinction between the impersonal and personal conceptions of the absolute truth. Let's continue. In this chapter, from verse 2 through the end, from Mayi Aveshya Manoye Mam, fixing the mind on me, through Yetu Dharmamritam Idam, this religion of eternal engagement. What is the Sanskrit word for religion of eternal engagement? Sanatanda. Very good. Eternal engagement. The Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. So, this is nice. You're engaged in what process right now? And Prabhupada is saying this is dear to Krishna. So be happy about that. You're doing something that's dear to Krishna. That's nice. And He accepts a person engaged in them. So right now, Krishna is accepting you. The question of who is better, one who is engaged in the path of impersonal Brahman, or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the personality of Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that through good association, one develops attachment for pure devotional service, and thereby accepts a bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service with faith, attachment, and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path for self-realization, for the attainment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth, as described in this chapter, is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of the Absolute Truth, one works without fruitive result, meditates, and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in the association of a pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service, he does not need to undergo step-by-step improvements in spiritual realization. Devotional service, as described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gita, is more congenial. One need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. And I can tell you from my personal experience, when I joined Prabhupada's movement in 1973, I just understood Prabhupada is there, Krishna is there, I'll be taken care of. I ate good, I slept good, I danced good, I had good association. Jai. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.